So for those of you that are new to the Microsoft ecosystem, because again, I'm going to go through an agentic sales journey, and we are going to look at Dynamics, the Microsoft ecosystem, but we're also going to talk about some of the other CRM products, the competitors, and how we work with them. So we do like to be agnostic in some of our ways of working with the products. So the Microsoft ecosystem, we'll start with the productivity tools. I think that's what everybody knows, everybody's familiar with is, the office tools and how do we work with the office tools with the rest of the ecosystem. Then we have in the middle, and some people might be new, some people might be current customers, but we do have our business applications. So our sales, our customer insights, our marketing, our finance, supply chain, customer service. So we do have the full gamut of business applications. And then we have our low code and pro code solutions. So being able to take all of the business applications, think about those as kind of the where you put your data and where everything lives, and being able to use low code as well as pro code to, enhance those, add workflows. And I'll give some examples as I'm doing my demonstration. All of that sits on Azure. So all of that sits on a very secure cloud with, governance and security, identity management, everything from Microsoft and what we're good at. And then Copilot. So this is what we're going to concentrate on today. So Copilot being able to kind of stretch across the entire Microsoft ecosystem, and how can you take advantage of that, and how can we show that? So I'm going to get started with our sales journey. Again, all of these slides and everything will be available to you. And what I will be showing is everything out of the box. So nothing is futures, nothing is fake demo, nothing is screenshots. Everything you're going to see today is working. And as we go along our journey, I'll try to cover some questions that I know are commonly asked questions with our customers. If there's a roadmap feature that I know is coming in our April release, I'll talk about that. But what I want to do is take all of the agents and how do those agents fit in a sales journey? So again, we have a lot of different agents and agents that do different things, but how do we plug each of those agents into a real life and a real journey? And how does it help you when you're prospecting? How does it help you when you're working with leads and opportunities? How does it help you when you want to prep for a meeting and you're getting ready to speak to a customer? And then what happens post-sales? And then at the end, I'll talk about kind of leadership. What do we need from leadership? What type of reporting? How do we delve into all of this data? And how do we use these copilots to get into all of our data? And actually, I like to say AI is tell me something I don't know. So with that, I'm going to get started. Again, you have any questions, please go ahead and put those in the chat and we'll make sure to answer those. So on our journey, but we're going to start with Outlook. Most people start their day in Outlook, like, what do I have to do? And I'm going to walk through and start dispositioning the emails that have come in over the evening. So I'm in Outlook and I've opened up our first agent, which is called our sales agent. And our sales agent is connectivity into Outlook. This does work with a Salesforce backend as well as a Dynamics backend. So as I'm walking through my emails and I'm opening up again my sales agent, I can see in my email somebody doesn't exist. So like we're having some conversations in an email, and with a simple click, I can go ahead and add that, and it adds that contact to my CRM, again, whether it's Salesforce or whether it's Dynamics. So again, a simple click and being able to add a contact. And think about keeping that data clean. This is reasons people don't use CRM. And then think about downstream activities that happen, like your marketing. You always want to make sure to have, the correct titles, the correct emails to do accurate marketing. We have the ability to save any of these emails. Again, a lot of companies need to save the threads of the email and the history of the email as part of the CRM record. Now, some of the things that are new are we all usually get emails and they're probably like 5 or 6, sometimes 10 threads long. And it's kind of difficult to weed through those emails. So we automatically summarize the email and summarize all of those threads and try to pick out what is important. Personally, I use this every day when I get a long thread because a lot of the thread is just, oh, hey, I'm forwarding this to you. So I can go through and see, hey, these are important things about the email. I can save these to CRM. So just kind of a tip for our current customers or customers going forward. When you save an email, it's a lot of storage. If you go ahead and save a summary, you're getting the same information, but you're just summarizing that. Again, making it easier for people in CRM to see the history of what's happened with that account. We do have GPT built in. So if users want to go ahead and reply to that email, again, they can put their own prompts in. And this is something you're going to hear me say a couple times. When users are new to using this, teaching them to be good prompters is really the most important thing. It's the best way to get the data out of AI. If I have some favorite prompts, I can save a couple of those. Like, oh, I keep forgetting to tell people there's a golf outing, or maybe wishing somebody a happy birthday, or maybe a very long, complex prompt that really gets you a good, rich email that you need to use every day. Now, if you're not ready to prompt, or you're not feeling comfortable with prompting, we do have ways to get you started. So if I want to just reply to this inquiry, it's going through the email, it's going through the email threads, it's going through my CRM data, and it's going to pull out anything that might be important to the reply to this customer. So I know throughout here, I think I had seen, oh, hey, they want to meet at some point. So it's not a first cut to an email, and it's like, Devin Torres, wow, that's the right person. We know that's in CRM. We always want to make sure that AI is correct. So we always give you ways to cite and actually double check that that email is correct. So I can see that Devin Torres is the correct person we're replying to. Hey, it did actually catch somebody wants to set a meeting. It's gone through my calendar and picked the first available time. But let's say this first cut of the email is, maybe I want a little bit more. I don't want to meet Monday at 9. I want to meet a little bit earlier. With a single click, I can adjust this draft. So maybe I want it a little bit longer, a little more friendly tone. And I think I want to meet maybe at 10 o'clock on Monday. I don't want to meet at 9 o'clock. You also have the ability to even add more prompts. Let's say you forgot something and you want to include something in the email. And as soon as you update that, again, it's going to redraft a new email, and we save up to the last 3 drafts. And then you can save that and reply into Outlook. So again, there's always a human in the loop. That's why we call it Copilot, not autopilot. You always have the ability to make sure the right information is getting to your customers. Now, in our sales agent, we have the ability to pull in any of the CRM data in what we call the sidecar. So as administrators, we do follow whatever securities you have set up in your CRM, whether it's a competitor or whether it's Dynamics. So there's no extra security that you have to lay on. I will always see the records that are available to me. But you can decide, hey, what is this user going to see? What is important to their business? Some of the old CRM connectors basically dumped all of CRM into an Outlook window. It's not really what users need. So you can be very refined of what you put in there and how users can get the information out of CRM that they need. So I can see, hey, I'm working on this opportunity. I can go into the opportunity. I can see details about the opportunity. And I don't even have to go into CRM. Again, you'll hear me say the flow of work. We try to keep people in the product that they like to use every day, but let them interact with the CRM data. Now, here's some things, again. Now we're moving away from just capturing transactional data, saving things, copying things. It's starting to have some intelligence and some insights. It's like, oh, hey, I've noticed some things have changed in the opportunity. The amount has changed, the date has changed. And again, we always let you decide. We're adding some more to the roadmap, things like titles, emails, addresses. So we're going to start to comb through that data and see if we can find maybe any irregularities that with a single click, your user is going to be able to correct in the CRM record. Now we can add other objects or other tables that exist in CRM. So it doesn't have to be just the account opportunity leads tables that people can see in Outlook. Here I have some example of, hey, I want people to see the outstanding cases. I'm talking to Devin, who's an agent, and I'm working with her, and she looks like she hasn't gotten her commission. So maybe I want to talk about that in the email. I have another customer that when they look at licenses for the agents that they're working with, they want to make sure they're valid. So we're able to pull in, put it in CRM, and I'm able to quickly see. I don't have to go to another system to see if they have valid licenses. So think about, again, some of maybe those custom objects or custom tables that you have to serve those up, as well as, I can see some of the visits that we've taken to this agency. So again, you can be very creative and again, really fine tune what people are looking at within Outlook. And then collaboration with teams. We love teams. We have lots of teams, but sometimes it's hard to find a team. So what you can do is we're going to surface up what are the teams that we're discussing this opportunity, this contact, this account. And if there isn't a team that already exists, you can create one. So you have the ability to set up what we call a deal room. It's going to take you through 2 or 3 steps of how to set up a team and a team's channel directly into Outlook. So really the sales agent in Outlook, it's going to give you the ability to let people get a lens into CRM, be able to transact with data in CRM, but also get some intelligence with that data. You can also, as administrators, if people want to create new leads, new contacts, new accounts, you have the ability to do that. But I want to take it a step further because again, this is an agentic journey. Like where do we, where do we improve upon that? Now what we can do is when you're using Teams and you're using the Microsoft ecosystem, we can now start to look through that and serve that up in Outlook. So here I have an opportunity that I'm working on and my opportunity insight. So it's gone through and we'll take a look at this in CRM, but I can actually serve up some insights. And this is where what you really need in a CRM is capturing data. CRM's been able to do that for 20 years. Being able to get insights out of all that data that somebody has typed in and transacted with, that's the importance. That's where the agentic journey starts. So here I can see, wow, I don't even have to go into CRM to look. I've got some potential risks on this. There was a previous meeting that happened. Wow, I didn't attend this meeting. Let me go look at some insights at this meeting. And again, I don't even have to leave Outlook. I can see we've got some next steps. I can see, oh, customer, expressed some frustration. So again, having all of this data as well as all of this insights as you're transacting through the email, talk about the time savings and again, staying in the flow of work without having to do any type of swivel chair. So now that I've kind of spent my day in Outlook, let's kind of continue on my journey. We're going to talk about leads and opportunities and managing those. So for those of you who have never seen Dynamics, we're actually in a core Dynamics screen. We're looking at leads. This is kind of the menu, the way I navigate throughout Dynamics. And I'm looking at all my leads. Just some, again, little tips and tricks along the way. Views, everybody knows what a view is. So customers tend to create lots of different views because they want to slice and dice the data different ways. So what if I could just ask it with a question like, okay, today I just want to work on leads that are in a trade show. Again, I can type in anything I want just using natural query language. So think about this as like leads on the fly, or excuse me, views on the fly. Now I don't have to save all of these views. And again, as we all know in CRM, we end up having probably 200 plus views, and then half the time you don't use them. So again, using AI, using that natural query language to really narrow down what are the leads I want to work on today. So here I want to work on some leads from trade show. Okay, now we're really going to get into the AI. So I have a list of leads. And I can go through and disposition those. And again, we have lead, we all know what a lead rating engine where you can plug in some things and you get a score and you say if it's a hot lead, but we're way more advanced at that now. Now we have both for leads and opportunities, agents that are going to do research for you. So while you're doing other work, while you're sleeping, it's almost like having an agent that's an intern for you. It's going to do some deep research for you. So that's kind of one side of the coin. And then I'll talk about the autonomous side. But an example is, hey, I'm going through my leads and I've got a lead with Mike Price at KKR. And it says it's a warm lead. And again, it's not just, again, we're so used to that. It's a score and it's a warm lead. We don't know why. But hey, oh, wow, there's some suggested actions. So it's looking at previous leads. It's looking at your current lead. And it's like, hey, you might want to reach out to this customer. Again, it's giving me insights as well as actions. Whereas maybe if I saw a lead score, I wouldn't have known that I had to reach out. It's giving me some insights on this lead. So it's using internal information as well as web information to give me more insights. And again, I can drill into, the company overview. I can drill into all of the contacts. So again, this rating this lead for me and getting me way far ahead. So as I go through these leads, I can really work on the ones that are going to close, that are, in our hot category, but I also have a ton of research and a ton of information that's already been done for me. And again, that's our sales qualification agent. Now, a sales qualification agent can also be autonomous. And what does that mean for you? So again, you can choose to turn this on. We always give you that choice. So I'm a human in the loop. I'm like, I want to draft an email. If you turn the autonomous side on, it's going to draft the email and send the email directly to the customer and start that kind of email conversation or the conversation with the customer without you in the loop. And we do find companies that have very transactional type of sales that they look to these autonomous agents to have these kind of very quick conversations that go back and forth. So just remember that research and that autonomous is available to you. So now that we're going along our journey, we've looked at the leads, we've tracked it down, we want to work on our hot leads. Let's now move to opportunities. So these are things that are in the pipe. These are things that are going to close very soon. Again, I'm in a dynamic screen. And I have a really nice visual of my pipeline, what's going on in my pipeline. So I can see I've got, well, here's a big deal closing. I can see, again, the larger bubble is going to represent that, this is closing soon and it's a large deal, but I want to concentrate on the opportunity that I was working with in Outlook. So here's my pay by bank opportunity. And then with a single click, I'm able to actually bring up information about that opportunity. So I can see, wow, it looks like we've added a new stakeholder. Again, I can go down and look at any type of information, that opportunity. Again, you as end users can set up these screens any way you want so people get the information that they need. But I can see that there's a summary. So I can really quickly see, again, I don't have to go into the record. I can see that there's a risk. It looks like the opportunity has changed. It looks like we've added a new stakeholder. But if I want to get deeper into what we call our sales close engine, I can go ahead and see the full research summary. And similar to what we saw for the leads, it's doing some deep dive research. Again, I'm working on other opportunities. I'm working on other deals. I'm sleeping at night, and it's going to go through and do the research for me. The way this is set up, that's a common question, is we do have a series of questions in the agents that you target. You say, we want to target this business, this amount. We want to try to sell these products. This is our company background. These are who our competitors are. So there's a lot of instructions that basically you fill in the blanks, and then it goes and does all of the research for you. Again, it's not just there's doing research and bringing back information that already exists out there. That's great. But now tell me something you don't. Tell me what I should do. And here in our research agent, we've got, wow, there's 5 things that you maybe need to look at while you're working this opportunity. So it looks like I'm missing an economic buyer. And again, look, it has a checklist. It's like, hey, let's make sure that you're going to go through everything that you need to go through to actually, increase this opportunity, make sure that this opportunity closes. So this is the research side. Again, I can see some key insights. It's going to tell me about my all my stakeholders. It's going to go out to LinkedIn and kind of grab that information as well. And as you can see, when I showed the graphic about the Microsoft ecosystem, you can see it's looking through my emails. It's looking through previous meetings that we've had. It's going to go look out at LinkedIn. You can add knowledge sources. So if there's knowledge sources inside your company with products or previous contracts or your website, you can go ahead with Copilot Studio and extend these agents to really kind of hone in on the research and what you want it to do for your customers. Our opportunity agent is autonomous as well. So if you want some of these, emails and some of these things to happen autonomously without a human in the loop, you can turn that off, but it is a choice to turn that on or off. So I just want to kind of ground us in where we are in the journey. Because again, I have a very short amount of time to present a lot of really great stuff. So we started our journey, kind of we're prospecting, we're going through our email and looking at all the things you can do in Outlook. We've gone into our qualification agent for our leads. So we narrowed down what leads do we want to work on. And then again, the research said, hey, these are the leads you should work on, and these are the reasons why. And then we looked at our sales close agent, which is, again, the opportunity side. So, what should you be doing? What is at risk? Again, looking at all that information, giving me actions, maybe again, telling me something I don't know. So now we're going to continue our journey in what we call sales chat and kind of show the Office and M365 integration and how you can have that in, again, an everyday sales journey. So for those of you familiar with M365 Copilot, you have the ability to ask questions against your corporate data. We have a couple built-in agents like Researcher that's going to kind of search the entire ecosystem and bring back information. We now have a sales agent, and the sales agent's job of what we call sales chat is to now say, hey, Include CRM. Anything that's in CRM, I need to know, and you need to include it in any of the questions that you might ask M365 Copilot. Sales Chat will work with both Salesforce and Dynamics. Again, I'm going to try to be clear about what products are available for these type of interactions. So one of the things I'll notice when I open my M365 Copilot is, oh, I have a meeting with Joy and Daniel, and I have it today, and I totally forgot about that. So I want to do a quick prep for this meeting. I can go into M365 Copilot, and I can say, hey, prep for my meeting with Daniel and Joy about the cyber liability opportunity that's going to be closing. So I don't have to traditionally go back into CRM screens, search CRM screens, read through emails, go through timelines to try to prep for this meeting. I've asked Copilot to do it for me. So Copilot with Sales Agent has gone through and it's looked at everything. And it's looked at previous meetings. It's looked at PowerPoints. It's looked at everything in the ecosystem. And this is great. I mean, this gave me a lot of great information, and it's a lot of great information, but I need to be quick. I can't weed through this information. So where do I put this where I feel comfortable prepping for meetings? Hey, I'm going to open it in Word. So it's going to take all of this great information. And again, you could continue to query for more information and drill down. But I want to go into Word. I like to be into Word. I like to prep things in Word. So I can immediately open that into Word. And what it's done is it's taken all the information that it's given me and it's put it in Word. So again, I can save this. I'll hop on a plane, I'll hop on a train. Maybe I can just take a little more time in looking through this information and prepping for this meeting. But as I said, it kind of came up last minute. I'm a little bit of a hurry. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to ask Word, take all this information that I got from Copilot and really be specific. And I'm going to say, to kind of repeat it again, of really try to help your end users be good prompters. And good prompters is really going to get the best out of AI. So I wanted to create 3 bullet points on the topics we should review. I'm not even sure what the topics are. I wanted to tell me in less than 500 words. Again, you can tell it. You can tell it, hey, don't be verbose. I need this in a compact way. 500 words, and add some closing statements. So give me some ideas from all of the data that you found that I can help close this deal. And what it's done, and again, this is all pre-done, but this really took me about less than 3 to 4 minutes to do this. It's giving me my 3 bullet points. Hey, this is what you need to talk about. Underwriting needs to get involved. You need to talk about your timeline. And then again, it suggested some things at the close of the meeting that I might want to ask the customer. So this is great. It's narrowed it down for me, but I need to do a presentation. I like to do PowerPoint. So I want to stay organized. So how do I do a PowerPoint? I can go ahead and say, hey, I'm in Word right now, and I got all of this from M365 Copilot. Create a PowerPoint on each of the 3 topics that I asked it for and include an agenda. I can easily, boom, I've created a PowerPoint. Again, I'm in Word. I've created a PowerPoint. So I can see a preview of my PowerPoint. I can scroll through my PowerPoint. You can have your formatting. So if you need your PowerPoints to have the look and feel, or you want to upload the logo of the company or your logo, you can do that. But it's actually created a very pretty good, looks good graphical PowerPoint that I can flip through here. I can again go back and say, hey, add this, add that, add a logo, or I can just open it directly in PowerPoint and go ahead and do my editing there. So again, I'm going to kind of stop and kind of ground us of where we are in the journey. Is we started with, wow, we have a meeting and we haven't quite prepped for this meeting. So we were able to ask Copilot, hey, help us prep for the meeting. I was able to go in a more comfortable product that I like to use, Word. And I was even able to Word to kind of condense all that information, get me very specific things about my talk points, and then have it really quickly create a PowerPoint. I didn't even have to go into PowerPoint. So again, extending all these agentic capabilities, all of the CRM data into the Office, into Office and the rest of the ecosystem. So the way we're going to round out the rest of this is we've kind of go through our sales process and we've talked to our customer, and hey, we've had a great meeting with the customer. We've recorded, we've transcribed it in Teams. Now, what are some of the things that I need to do post-sales? How did that meeting go? I can see that I can save these AI notes to Dynamics. So again, the meeting's been recorded, the meeting's over, and I immediately get a summary from Teams, but I also get CRM data that's included in here. So I can see, wow, I can save my notes directly to CRM. This will work with both Salesforce and Dynamics. And what's great is I can edit those notes. So again, I'm not just stuck to whatever, they said my notes were and my summary was, add on a new product, do anything. So make any changes to these notes. So again, leadership always wants you to track things in CRM. So again, single click, I've added all of those notes to CRM. I can draft an email. So what if somebody missed the call? Sometimes we miss calls and we're like, hey, I'll go listen to that call. And chances are we don't go back and listen to the entire call and actively listen to that entire call. Single click. I'm not even in Outlook, I'm in Teams. If I want to create, maybe Mike and Bob missed the meeting, I want to create an email and tell them, hey, this is what you missed in the meeting, or maybe you have some to-dos. Again, that single click, I can create that email, go into Outlook, edit that email, and send it. And then there's actions. I talked about, having all the CRM data, seeing all these insights, but there's always some sort of to-do, some sort of action that needs to happen after a meeting. And we automatically create the task. So we go through the meeting and say, hey, there's a couple of things that we feel are to-dos with tasks. So when I create this task, it automatically out of the box creates a task in CRM. But I've extended, I showed you with the ecosystem, those kind of low code, pro code tools. I've used Power Automate, and I quickly wrote, and if I can write a Power Automate like this, anybody can. But I talk about meeting people where they're at. My Power Automate is now going to send an email to this person that says you have a task. It's going to load it into Dynamic CRM in their dashboard to show them they have a task. And I'm going to have the task go in the Teams channel. So this is where CRM is headed. I mean, we will be in CRM for some screens, but we want to meet people where they're at. If I'd like to be in Teams, again, I have all that CRM information. I can see insights. I can get things pushed to me, action items that are pushed to me. So just to kind of conclude the rest of our post-sales, again, what questions, what keywords, we're asked. Again, keywords. I can see we talked about a Daniela Morse. I've never talked to Daniela Morse. I might want to go back in and see, well, how does she play into our opportunity? And then again, sentiments. You missed the meeting. You can go back and see, again, some sentiment you can't always catch from a summary, but I can see really quickly that, wow, the customer was expressing some concerns about a competitor's pricing. Again, I didn't attend the meeting, but I was able to see all of those insights and get all of those insights into CRM. So again, we're at the journey where we've kind of started prospecting. We've gotten through here. We've prepped for our customer. We've talked to our customer. Now let's talk about, wow, what do we do with all this data? So we have all this great data. We've captured it. It sits in different places in the ecosystem. Now let's talk about the sales research agent. Now the sales research agent is a Dynamics only, a Dynamics premium feature. So it only works with Dynamics. This sales research agent will look on all of the data in what we call Dataverse. So that's the Dynamics CRM where all of our data is kept. But you can also use Sales Research Agent. You can put spreadsheets in here. I'll show you an example of that, and go out to a data lake to get data. Now, Sales Research Agent, when I show it, a lot of people think it's a little bit of Power BI on steroids, but it's way more than that. You're asking natural query, you're naturally querying it, and it's going to get data for you. And it's really going to dig in. So the Sales Research Agent was created around 3 years ago for our CFO org. So I think it's one of the most tried and true tested agents that we have. So some samples are maybe a white space. So if you have enough data from past and present, doing a white space analysis, looking at trending products. So, or hey, maybe you want to take a look at some agents that have sold or not sold one of my products. So when I click in here, these aren't called reports. These are called blueprints. And they're called blueprints because they're really navigating that data and pulling out more than just what you're asking for, but it's also pulling out trends. It's also pulling out not just what's happening in the rearview mirror, but what do you need to do next? So just a blueprint looks like this. I've asked it a question, show me a list of some agencies that have sold our commercial insurance product. So it's gone through the data that I've given it. And as I said, it's very easy to add an extra Excel spreadsheet. We all live on Excel, that maybe you want to get data out of a policy administration system, a legacy system. And we also now can attach to a data lake. So we are adding more ways to connect your data into Sales Research Agent. So that's great. I mean, we've got some really kind of rich graphics, but I can do graphics in anything. I can do Power BI, I can do Excel. The real value here is this narrative. This is a narrative that would take a sales operations or a sales leader or regional manager a lot of time to look at a graph and say, okay, I can see who sold our stuff, but what now? So now it's really targeting in this narrative, like, there are some territories you might want to look at. We're doing some analysis on these 6 agencies, but not every agency, even though they sold your policies, and they didn't necessarily, maybe they sold one policy. So again, going through this narrative, and now it's giving me some follow-up questions. Like, here's some things you might want to drill into after we saw this data. And again, giving me a conclusion about the question. So this narrative, again, is something a sales operations person would take a really long time and just weeding through spreadsheets and data to try to come up with these narratives. And again, looking for trends, looking for what you do next, not just looking at data in the rearview mirror and, okay, what happened? Great. You told me what happened, but what do I do next? You have the ability to, as I said, to even drill into more into what we call these blueprints. Now show me the people who didn't sell our commercial umbrella policy. And again, getting those rich graphics, being able to change those, drilling in, if I wanted to drill into this and change the graphic and do a deeper dive into, group this by city, group this by agents, however you want to slice and dice this data, you have the ability to do that. And again, the most important, the critical part is the narrative, that it's like, here are the people and the agencies that didn't sell your product. You might want to market to them. You might want to forward these over to somebody to pick up the call and pick up the call and have somebody call them. And then kind of to bring it all home with the sales research agent. Great. We've done some deep dives. It looks for data. We can augment it with data, but what is it doing while you're sleeping? Again, this is kind of the autonomous piece. What it's doing is it's actually going through all of the data that you've fed it. And it's starting to come up with some logic that says, you might want to look at this. And if you see anything that says untitled workspace, this is actually a sales research agent saying, hey, I've kind of ferreted and weeded through all of your data. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about what's going on in the sales funnel and why you're getting, attrition? Are you maybe want to look at the territory redistribution? And maybe balance this a little more, because we're looking at that pipeline. We're looking at deals that you've sold, policies that you've written, and you're not selling those. So again, the sales research agent, way bigger than just a report that's looking at past data. It's doing that. It's letting you drill into that data. It's letting you ask questions. It's really giving you those great sales narratives that operations people need to do every day. And it's also looking and looking through that data and saying, hey, there's some stuff you might not know. So that I know is very, very quick. Appreciate everybody's attention. I'm not sure, I haven't been able to monitor the chat, but just to sum it up, we took an agentic sales journey. Everything you saw is working today, can be turned on tomorrow. There was no futures in here. Again, we have a really great roadmap. We're happy to go over a roadmap with you, but we started in our prospecting stage, we got all the way to close, and we were able to use our agents very powerfully along that agentic journey. Again, in your CRM, as well as in the surrounding Microsoft products. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Bob, who's actually now going to take us through a service agentic journey.
Fantastic. So Amy, I'm always amazed at how much content you're able to fit in such a short amount of time. So thank you for that. So as I get situated here, let's go ahead and get ourselves going here. All right, so what a great lead, right, into now we have to service, our clients and customers. So now that we've earned this customer, right, our service support organization typically now is kind of that front door, right, for future engagements they're going to have with our firm. So as we all know, it's far easier to grow an existing customer relationship than create a new one. That's why it's critical that we equip, right, our service organization with the tools they need to deliver exceptional customer service. And that's what we're going to talk about today, leveraging these agentic capabilities. So we can drive that stronger relationship, increase loyalty, and that long-term value, right? So we can continue to upsell and cross-sell to these customers. So let's do a little past, it's a little history lesson here, right? So, we think of how a lot of times things maybe still happen today in some organizations. What I find fascinating and exciting about the servicing part is everyone can relate to calling into an organization or chatting or email and what a good and a bad experience is, right? So we think about, the before, right? Some of these capabilities we had that we're going to talk about today, right? Teams struggled, right, with siloed insights, right? Making it hard to spot and respond to emerging customer issues, right? We're just not aware that that's happening. Managing our knowledge, right? The updates to our knowledge, where, typically a lot of times in the past or today, right? It's a manual, it's slow, often leaving, right? Our CSRs, right? Those customer service reps and customers with outdated answers and guidance. And our service representatives, right? A lot of times they're stuck, right, in this low value work, like creating cases, following up on cases and closing cases, right? We want to automate that. And then for our kind of corner office folks, right, those supervisors in these service centers, right, they're only able to assess, right, a small fraction, right, their customer interactions to really assess what is the service quality that we're delivering to our customer base. And then the field teams. I know this is mostly financial services focused audience here, but when we think about insurance, maybe we have to schedule, claims adjusters in the field, right? Typically, right, it's static schedules. We have to react to changes. That of course is going to then cause delays to, maybe close a claim faster if we have automation with it. So now we have this automation in place, right? So now we can leverage AI, and leverage really the intent faster, route smarter, and keep our knowledge sources fresh. Automatically curating. Now that can be semi-autonomous or fully autonomous, right? That knowledge base. And then leveraging every customer interaction moving forward to continue to update those knowledge articles. Then around case creation, right? If I've already had a conversation that was delivered to me, a phone call, maybe a chat or an email, why do I have to look inside that conversation or ask the client certain questions to start filling out a case? If it already has that transcript, create that case for me and fill in the case, or you can fill it in for me. So automatically doing that for ourselves. And then we think about the conversations, right, across cases and conversations to evaluate these interactions, right? So we can drive quality and drive improvement across all channels. And then the scheduling, we talked about that a little bit earlier, right? To be able to dynamically adjust in real time, helping these field teams and leaders maximize those resources, especially those first-time kind of resolution rates. So the business impact, where we kind of see here at the bottom, right, it's all about in customer service contact center, right, kind of first call resolutions, improving that CSAT, improving NSAT, by really resulting in smarter routing and faster answers. Lowering that average handle time. We're going to autonomously help with those repetitive case management steps, and then really increase that rep productivity, right? So as the CSRs, our service representatives, spend more time, we want to allow them to give more time on complex and value interactions. So here's the four we're going to talk about today for this specific industry, right? So we're going to talk about our customer intent agent, our case management agent, our customer knowledge management agent, and our quality evaluation agent. So we have something we call a learning loop when we think about our servicing, right? So we're kind of going to start off here to my left. So the customer reaches out to us, right, on a channel of their choice. It's web, chat, voice, social, SMS, right, you name it. From the moment that interaction begins, the customer intent agent kicks in. It's going to analyze what the customer is trying to solve. So we're looking at that transcript and the self-service. And then we're working to resolve as quickly as possible through that self-service channel, right? We want to do it in the self-service channel. Not only it saves us time operationally, but also we want to do it with great CSAT, right? We don't want to frustrate the customer in doing that. Our goal here for most organizations, right? We want to shift more interactions to the left of this loop, meaning more resolutions happen through the proactive AI-driven self-service without needing to escalate to a live customer service representatives. But if the issue does need the human support, the system doesn't miss a beat. We transfer that in context. So as that conversation progresses to the human agent, The case management agent automatically creates that case for me, captures the context of that self-service interaction, and hands it off seamlessly to that live service rep with all the relevant information that was already in place that the system knew about. So that allows then the rep, while working the case, then Copilot can provide real-time guidance in all this context that we've gotten from the self-service channel, whether it's servicing knowledge, summarizing the context, or suggesting next steps. But here's where the learning loop continues as you're looking at this graphic. If the rep solves an issue that isn't yet documented, the knowledge management agent suggests turning that resolution into a new knowledge management article, feeding it right back in the system for future use. Now, this new knowledge article not only improves self-service, but now can improve assisted service moving forward. So the next time a customer reaches out with a similar issue, the system is already smarter and faster. And then over time, as the interactions flow through this loop, more issues get resolved automatically. Again, pushing these interactions to the left of this loop. This reduces case volume, improves resolution speed, and lets those human teams focus on those more complex, high-value moments that really drive that customer loyalty and growth. So let's dive into our customer intent agent. So it uses AI, surprise, surprise, to automatically understand why customers are reaching out based on the real-time conversations across the channel of your choice. So it's continuously building what we call this intent library, and it's refining that library the more interactions that come in. This both, again, helps self-service copilots and the live service representatives to quickly identify the customer's needs that are required to handle this interaction. Maybe it's a request, maybe it's a question. It then proactively recommends follow-up questions, right? And this is, think about, we're kind of going from this deterministic world to this probabilistic world, right? Where it's going to suggest relevant solutions, accelerating that self-service development by limiting the need to build these deterministic topics. So when a live assist agent comes in, customer service rep is required, it enables the intent-based routing to prevent misroutes and reduce that handle time by making sure that service representative has the right context for those next best actions up front. And the irony here is those next best actions that are being shown in that live service rep screen, those are the same ones that are done in the self-service. It's the same tool. It just depends how you want to leverage it within your organization. So what I have here is just how this kind of happens in the background. I'm not going to spend too much time here. So hopefully we have interest, right? Reach out to your account team, get a hold of myself or Amy. But the agent, again, continues to discovers through this loop, right? We call this improves future interactions, right? And updates the intent library as these new interactions occur. So this built-in learning loop is that improves this accuracy over time. Now, to be clear, you don't need to be a developer. This is all lightweight within Dynamics, where all these intents are managed as first-class records. And again, the result is a self-improving intent layer that accelerates the time to value, reducing the administrative overhead, and steadily increases the automation quality the system learns from every action. So what you're looking at here, for those of you that haven't seen the Dynamics interface for one of our customer service apps here, this customer service app here is called a Copilot Service Workspace. So this is the screen a live customer service representative would leverage to interact with the customers. So on the left, we have a communication panel. This panel is where the voice transcription is happening with a live caller. This is where their web chat or SMS or social transcription is happening on the left. So what's happened here is our end customer was on our website and they say, you know what, I want to talk and chat with a live representative. So we kind of see that happen here to the left. Customer was transferred from web chat bot to human agent. So I automatically get a conversation summary. So me as the live rep, I don't have to scroll up and down the previous what happened in self-service. I can get a summary of what happened. Now this screen, Scott, I did this yesterday. I have a live demo of this. This was taken as soon as it popped up. What it's already telling me here with my intent agent is if I just hit tab, it sends this out to the customer. So based on this intent, we're probably going to need to understand what policy the premium concern is about. And what's driving that visually for my live service representative is over here to the right. So here we detected our issue. Our intent is regarding premium concerns. So this demonstration here I was doing for a client. This is all around P&C insurance, specifically auto insurance. So here are the customers calling regarding their policy went up on their car insurance. Again, never happened to any of us, I'm sure. So this is intent, right? We get a lot of these calls within this organization. So the intent here is to verify the policy and then suggest a solution. In this case, the solution, as you can see down here, is we can reduce, right, give them a discount if they enroll in our telematics program. So this is one example of customer intent can work on the live CSR side. But if I was doing this on the self-service side, this would happen in the self-service side and not even require an agent if the customer was satisfied doing this in a self-service channel. All right, let's move to our quality evaluation agent. We're going to have a live demo here at the end here that includes all of these agents. Recorded live demo, let me rephrase that. So the quality management agent from Dynamics here brings a consistent, scalable quality oversight to the customer service center, right? By automatically evaluating not just our conversations, but cases as well. So we don't necessarily require a conversation to do an evaluation on a case if a case was maybe created from scratch. It replaces the time-consuming, right? A lot of solutions are out there today where it's subjective manual reviews with AI scoring and clear insights, giving leaders a true data-backed view of the service quality of every interaction in your service center. So it can identify compliance gaps, coaching opportunities, and recurring issues early, so it can help our teams proactively improve the outcomes and the customer satisfaction. And these run continuously. These can be fully autonomous, or they can run an evaluation, and then a supervisor can come in and finish off that evaluation. So you have the choice to do both of those. But at the end of the day, the result is higher service consistency, faster quality improvements, and measurable impact without increasing operational overhead. So the setup is pretty straightforward. You create your plan. We give you a plan out of the box based on industry standards, but you can create your own plans. You then determine your evaluation criteria to build the scoring, and then you get the evaluation. So again, my live demo yesterday, I took just a couple screenshots here based on the time we had today. So here you see an example of evaluations that have been running for me over the last few days here as I've been doing demonstrations. Now you'll notice here where these are blue and in progress, this means it wasn't autonomous. So everything that's been completed was done autonomously by the agent. In this case, I have two specifically for cases where I want a supervisor to come in and look at that score and add notes so that we can have both of those type of quality assessments happening at the same time. And then if we dive into that quality report, we can see the actual transcription. Over here, in this case, is a web chat. Looks like someone was changing their zip code. Here we can understand, what the channel was. There's the live chat. Here's the intent. It was regarding premium concerns. Here you see the two different sessions. The reason there's two different sessions, the first session was self-service, right? So it's that chat bot that was sitting on the website. But then in this case, the customer decided, I want to talk to someone live. So you see all of those interactions broken out by session, but all rolled up into one continuous conversation. And that is then what our evaluation agent does its scoring based on. So what I've done here is I just blown this up here on the next slide here to bring this out. So here you see what the evaluation looks like. So we've got our evaluation summary, where it's going to summarize what it's doing, but also make recommendations as well. It's going to give you the idea, the scoring overview and why it's scored it a certain way. Most common one is, did you start the call with, thank you for calling Contoso Bank or Contoso Insurance? Did they end the call with, thank you for being a valued, client of Contoso Insurance or Contoso Banking? So those are things that kind of come with a default. But again, you can create your own scoring as you see fit. All right, let's move on to our knowledge management agent. What the knowledge management agent does in the background is it automatically turns resolved cases, conversations, and emails, and the notes along with these cases into high quality, knowledge articles based on the format that's already in CRM. So it's going to analyze all those service interactions, detect knowledge gaps using AI vectoring, and then at the end of the day, what it's going to do is if it's far enough away from the knowledge we currently have, it's going to create those new articles or update existing ones without manual effort. Now that is the full-on turbo. Here we go. We can make it semi-autonomous, so we can have a knowledge author, if you will, review what Copilot this agent has come up with, and then they can go ahead and publish those. But if you want to, you can make this 100% autonomous if you choose to do so. Here's kind of that loop and how it works, right? So the agent identifies the need, it authors it. It could be sent for review by a human if you choose to do it, and then it's going to go ahead and publish, but it's going to monitor to see if we have existing cases that have come in since, we can continue to fine-tune that knowledge article based on the context of that resolution. Two types of how this can be created. We have real-time and historical. Historical is probably where you start, right? So it's kind of like, we're just kind of starting with our knowledge base. We're going to go in there and create knowledge from all the cases that we have. And as time goes on, I end up probably doing more real-time, where it's going to handle those emerging issues based on that kind of first run to build that content out. Either way, which way you go, right? You customize what content is used, you set the rules, and you control the degree of the autonomy of this agent. Quick overview of how this works. Pretty straightforward, right? Case is closed. The agent determines if an article is needed. Agent drafts an article in an issue cause resolution format. And then most importantly on the right, we're making sure we're removing sensitive information. So I'll just kind of let you digest that here, because based on time, I want to make sure we get to our last agent. All right, our case management agent automates the most time-consuming and really the most frustrating tasks that our poor customer service reps have to do in the contact center, right? Eliminate that manual data entry, right? It's going to keep cases continuously up to date for our service reps after customer interactions, reducing that wrap-up time and ensuring complete, accurate case records. So if we think about the flow of a case in your organization, right, we have the case creation, and everything I'm highlighting here in blue are these asterisks, right? This is what that agent is going to do for us. Then we actually go through that triaging. But then once we go and close that case, or maybe we have to have a follow-up with the customer, maybe we're waiting for additional information, maybe paperwork to come in, this is where the autonomous agent can go ahead and take over for us on those follow-ups, those automatic resolutions. So again, here's the screen where that looks like, where here I have a customer that has come in via the self-service again. They've transferred to me. As soon as this lands on me, this case has been created. It's detected the line of business, which is life insurance in this case. It automatically gave it a title, and it went ahead and started filling out a description. So that happens automatically for me as a rep. It's automatically done for me. And then if I close this case, or maybe I have a follow-up with the case, the agent's then going to either autonomously send a follow-up email based on my direction, or it's going to create a draft email, which you're seeing here, where I can review and go ahead and send that off. In this case, Felix didn't respond to my first email, so the agent automatically is reminding me, hey, you need to follow up. Here's the email to send out. Or again, we can have that happen autonomously. And let's say Felix doesn't respond again as our client, we can then automatically close that case and send the customer an email saying, hey, we've closed your case. Let us know if you want us to reopen it. Again, removing all that tedious actions by our customer service reps. Performance across all these agents, right? If we don't have insights, we don't know how to improve, we don't understand what's happening. So here's all the KPIs that we deliver out of the box across all 4 of these agents, understanding the journeys of these agents and where they're happening from an autonomous perspective, or when humans are getting involved in the service center journey. And then let's go through a quick demonstration here. Let me go ahead and play this.
Service agents for Dynamics 365 help reduce the manual burden on service reps, enable evergreen self-service and assisted service, and strengthen customer experiences. Let's see the case management, customer intent, customer knowledge management, and quality evaluation agents in action. I'm a senior service rep, and I've just received an escalation for a new issue. Instead of having to manually create a case, I see the case management agent has already generated one. It identified relevant case details based on the customer's history and the transcript to auto-populate the appropriate fields. With Copilot, I'm also provided a summary and other information to help quickly get me up to speed. Meanwhile, while I work, the customer intent agent is continuously learning from me and our other service reps how to identify and resolve this and other complex customer issues as they arise. It discovers new intents from customer conversations across channels by analyzing case notes, transcripts, and summaries, mapping issues to corresponding resolutions the agent maintains in a library. In parallel, the customer knowledge management agent helps ensure knowledge articles are kept perpetually current, automatically identifying opportunities to update existing articles or draft new ones based on the discovered insights. The agent autonomously drafts and publishes the content, And since I have oversight, all I have to do is approve the update. Whenever I need a little help diagnosing a customer issue, Copilot will proactively surface prompts fueled by the customer intent agent, as well as the latest guidance harnessed by the customer knowledge management agent. Though for this case, I'm ready to wrap up. Once I finish the chat with the customer, the case management agent will provide a summary and continue managing any follow-up needed for this and my other open cases. Here, the next day, alerting me to an email from the customer. It's able to autonomously resolve cases, drawing from knowledge content and even other agents and tools to proactively draft responses. I have the option to review and edit before they're sent. Otherwise, the agent will continue monitoring and autonomously responding as needed until I'm prompted it's time to close the case. Once I confirm, the agent automatically generates wrap-up notes, fills in resolution details, and closes it for me. And to verify we've delivered the right customer experiences, the quality evaluation agent analyzes completed conversations and cases, assessing them at scale against our organization's quality standards. I see we're hitting our targets. Though the agent is alerting me here to a low score, I can drill into the evaluation summary and review proactive suggestions on how to improve with coaching recommendations. In this case, adjusting the empathy and tone and refining processes executed by the self-service agent when resolving the issue going forward. Now, the next time a customer reaches out, our Agentic Contact Center powered by Dynamics 365 is ready, intelligently evolving with the latest intents, up-to-date knowledge content, and essential quality guidance to help resolve issues and build long-term loyalty.
All right, so here's just a quick overview of those agents based on the roles that they impact and the goals of those agents. And then lastly, just want to say thank you for your time today. We just kind of showed you how all these agents can transform, right? AI into a digital workforce, depending on the speed that you want to run at, driving faster decisions, reducing manual effort, and delivering scalable business outcomes. So again, moving beyond just automation to intelligent execution, right? You can empower your teams to focus on what matters most and achieve better results at scale.